Well, welcome back. Sorry for the noise. They're grinding outside my bay, so we'll have to deal with it. So this is just going to be relatively short. Well, it's going to take me a while, but I want to show you what I'm doing with the hatch today. So I'm going to be removing the tint. I've already started a little bit. So I'm going to take the tint off both sides, and if there's any residue, I will take it off with some Goo Gone. That usually does a pretty good job of taking off any glue that gets left behind. And then after I take the tint off, I'm going to polish up all the hardware that I'm going to reuse, and that's going to be it. So what I'm going to do to take the tint off, it's a little chilly in here, so I'm going to use the heat gun to very lightly heat up the tint and just peel it off. As you can see, I did a pretty good job so far with this. I literally just heated it up for a second and started to peel off, so it should come right off. So I don't think I'll bore you with the details. I'll show you a few seconds of using the heat gun, but I think most people get how it works. So here we go. Comes right off. So if I didn't heat it up, it would probably just snap off. But with heated up, it comes right off. Okay, we're back. So I got the inside. The tint came off really easily. There's the pile of tint here. So as you can see, when it's cold, it gets a little crinkly, a little stiff. Heating it up did help. There are a few areas that I'll need to use the Goo Gone. I'll take the bulk of it off with a razor blade. This is glass, it's not plexiglass. So I can scrape a lot of this off and use the Goo Gone to get this off, so it's ready for the tint company. And then I'll do the other side. Okay, we got all the tint off. Looks really, really good. There was one thing I didn't anticipate. I assumed this was glass. It's not. It's plexiglass. So the tint from the tint shop will not work on this. It's only for glass. So I'm ordering some of the tint that I had on here, which is made for plexiglass. So I'm going to order some of that up, and then I'll bring it to the shop and see if he'll do it. If not, I can do it myself. I just know it'll come out better if a professional does it. But in either case, that's where we stand. So now I'm going to start polishing everything, and I will pause here while I set that up. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to polish up the metal portion of the hatch. I do use Prism, and it works really, really well. So that's what I'm going to use here. So I'm going to use it on one of these blue Scott's rags. Put it on. Only have to use a very, very little amount, and it'll go a long way. Trust me. So I usually just spread it over the area. Have to get it into the corners pretty good because there's a little bit of corrosion there that I can see. You can see it's turning black. If anyone's polished before, you know it turns black. It's working. So after I've gone over it a few times, I'll use a cotton rag and polish it up nice. Unfortunately, where this is a deck hatch, this is gonna corrode pretty fast. you'll get the surface corrosion on stainless steel. It's not, everyone thinks stainless steel won't corrode, but you'll always get that surface corrosion. Like you can see on these parts, you're always going to get that. So that's why you have to polish it all the time. But as you can see, I still have a little bit more polishing to do, but you see what an improvement that made. And then again, this will leave a coating on it, wax coating, so it'll be good for next season. Okay, I'm done polishing the whole hatch. So it came out pretty good. Nice and clean, nice and shiny. Still see some of the wax coating on there a little bit, but looks pretty damn good to me. So I'll set that aside and I'll start working on the hardware. Okay, we're back. So I'm going to work on the smaller parts of the hatch now. So I'm going to work on these arms. These arms are in several parts. So you have the detents here. It has a little set screw here. I'm going to take that off so I can separate them. Put that aside. And now you can separate these two parts. This part of the arm, you lift up and twist to lock so you can operate it smoothly. Then when you want to lock it in place, you twist it and then it'll lock in place into these detents. So after I get it polished up, I'll throw a little lubricant in there as well because it's a little crunchy. You can actually see, I don't know if you can see, but I don't think you can. But there's a little bit of rust on those parts there, so I'll throw some lubricant on after I polish it. So I'll use the same rag as I did before, for the smallest amount, polish on the rag, and start polishing it up. And again, this will leave a wax coating, so it should make it slide a little smoother, because it was getting a little crunchy. As you can see from the spots where it always opens and the pin drags across this, get a little bit of corrosion there. That's the only thing with the polish, it doesn't like to get into crevices like this. That's why I like the spotless stainless, because it can get into here a lot better. But it's not an option at this point. I don't feel like waiting till it gets warmer. So I like using these blue paper towels. They're heavy duty, they're heavier than paper towels, but they also don't absorb as much as the polish as, like, say, a sponge would, or even a cotton cloth would. This kind of keeps the material on the outside. And that's it. Polishing it up with the rag really brings out the shine. And actually, even those detents did come out actually halfway decent. Better than they were, but not as good as if I use the spotless stainless. That's that one, and you compare it to the one that I didn't do. Still not bad for a hatch that's probably a quarter-century old, so can't really complain of any scratches that are on here. I'll do the same thing with this, polish it up, put a little dab on it. It's amazing how far the polish goes. You can always use the area that you've used, because that black part still works. And we've had the boat, what, 17 years now, I think? This is the first time I've actually polished these hatch arms, so they're way overdue. This goes to show the quality of these hatches. They can take a lot of abuse and neglect. They never really give them much attention because they always work so well. I never felt that it really needed attention, but they do. And I know you can't feel it, but you can actually feel the wax coating on this because it's getting like really slippery in my hands. And that's that. Again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. I don't have any lubricant now, so I'll put some on later. But you can see this compared to the untreated one. Big difference. Okay, so off camera, I did spray the inside of this mechanism with some PB Blaster just to free up the metal on the plunger that comes in and out of here. I sprayed PB Blaster on the inside and kind of freed that up, and then I put some Seacock grease in as far as I could and worked it around, and then lubricated the inside of this channel that this part goes through. So now it slides really nice, goes in, slides so smoothly now. No grinding, no nothing. Only thing is that you have a little bit of grease here, but I'll wipe that up. But it'll protect it. Locks in place. Pull up, twist, and it's nice and smooth. So the only thing I need to do on this one is put the set screw back, and I am done with this hatch arm. And I think I wasn't going to buy new hatch arms, but I think I will, just because again this is a mechanical piece here, and it may be hard to source if this does break at some point. I'd rather have it in inventory. They're not overly expensive, maybe $50–60 each. Okay, so now we've polished up the arms, so now we can move on to the other hardware. So basically it's going to be the same thing as doing the arms. We'll just polish it up nice. And one thing that I have to order on this hatch pin, there's actually an O-ring on this, so I do have on order a new O-ring and actually a whole new pin as well. So again, everything here is going to be duplicated for spares. And one thing about the pin, the hinge pin, is it only goes in one way. So this is the outside, it's kind of got an oval shape, and so when we put it back we need to remember that, and then this has to be in the center. The divot in the middle has to be in the center. So, and I do see a little bit of a deformation of the pin, so I will order another one. I will reuse this one because it does go in and out. So I'm not going to bore you with watching me polish this. It's the same as everything else. Okay, so we got all the little parts polished up. The hinge came out really nice. The set screw, the bolts, the nuts, the handle, I just cleaned that up with some Windex, so that came out nice, and the pin came out nice. So like I said, I do have a O-ring on order, but it polished up nice anyways. So that's about it for this. I will do the other one the same way off camera, and that'll be about it for the hatch until I get it back from the tinter. So thanks for watching.